So, you continue and you start walking up the steps. And at this point, the sun has fully risen, and it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's completely light out, and the city is fully awake. So there's constant low, dull roar in the background of peasants chatting and merchants going about their business and women laughing and so on and so forth. And as you approach, just start approaching and walking up the steps to the Sept of Baelor, you see that at the very front there's like 4 columns that kind of you have to walk under and through, kind of Pantheon-esque, to get to the main door. And right in the middle of the very innermost 2 columns, they have a table set up. And at the table are sitting 2 maesters. And all of the maesters, there's a couple of other maesters arriving at the same time that you are there ahead of you, and they go and they check in at the table and talk to that guy very briefly. And it looks like they get some sort of like scroll or like packet sort of substance. Not substance, but they get a scroll of some a scroll of some sort. And then they walk into the building.
I guess
substance.
Just go and talk to that guy at the table, eh?
Yeah, we should be good little maesters and do what they expect.
Bravo!
Okay, so all of you roll awareness. See who goes first.
Awareness.
I'm totally going
Awareness.
first.
4 dice.
That's not
Awareness.
anything special, just awareness.
Just awareness.
9.
15.
Damn.
Damn it, Bob! That means you must have rolled all 5s.
Oh my god.
No, I have 4 dice.
Oh,
Suck it.
I got a 10.
Jeff?
7.
All right.
Suck it! Going second.
So,
Yeah, that was terrible.
Bob walks up first, and there appears to be 2 maesters sitting there. One that is doing most of the talking, and the one next to him who is really just kind of learning and organizing and handing out individuals' roles. And you immediately recognize the one who is doing all the talking as Maester Ramsfield. And he looks at you, and he says, "Name?" And he glares at you with his bloodshot eyes.
My name is Daniel Snow, House Mechanist.
Roll persuasion.
Persuasion is 3. Regular persuasion?
Yep.
Alright, that would be 10.
He frowns, and he opens a book that he has in front of him. And he flicks through the pages kind of quickly. And then he says, Mechanist. There is no listed maester for Mechanist House. Who are you?
Daniel Snow, bitch.
Oh my goodness. There is indeed a maester for our house. I come with the greetings of Sir Sassy, and I come having met with the king, who has heard the plight of my house and heard my testimony.
Roll persuasion.
10.
Ramsfield glares at you, and he scoffs at your attempt to name drop the king. And he says, I don't give a bleeding shite what the king wants me to do. I take orders from Grand Maester Pycelle first and no one after. And he starts flipping to a different part of the book. And he says, Snow, that's a very interesting name for a maester to have. And he finds a different list that's not by house, but just all of the maesters, the current maesters in the 7 kingdoms, and he starts scrolling through your names. And he says, I don't have a Daniel Snow listed here.
Alright, guys, what's everyone's persuasion?
Wait, can I help out here?
You can try.
I'm technically, I've probably been around longer than this guy.
Oh, most certainly.
This guy probably knows of me too.
Oh, most certainly.
Keep
Okay,
in
well,
mind,
I'm gonna
I know
walk up.
Grand Maester Pycelle too, so don't hurt yourself.
I'm gonna walk up and kick him in the ball.
Wow.
Maester Pycelle. Sorry, switch to a different accent. Hi, Mr. Pycelle. What seems to be the problem here?
He's not Maester Pycelle.
I don't know who this is.
He's Maester Ramsfield.
Right, I walk up and say, Maester Ramsfield.
What seems to be wrong? He glares at you and he says,
I smile at him.
okay, roll persuasion. Also, sorry, should make you do that first.
Damn it. Always fucking fail this. Okay, I haven't rolled yet. I'm about to roll. I'm just stating I'm going to lose so badly. Oh, good. Okay. 6, 4, 10, 4. I only get 3 of them. 14.
He glares back at you and coughs. And he says, the problem, sir. Actually, you shouldn't say sir. He says, the problem is that this man is not listed in any of these documents as ever existing before as a Maester of the Citadel. We only allow Maesters of the Citadel into the Sept of Baelor for the Maester's Conclave. Does this look like a brothel to you? And then he looks at you deeper and he's like, that's a very signature skin tone you have there. Are you Maester Fisher from White Harbor?
That I am.
And he kind of scoffs to himself. And he says, I've heard that you've gone crazy with your old age since you've only been eating fish your entire life.
I can confirm this.
And he spits and he says, "Fucking merman."
I'd like to speak again.
Sure.
Can I assist?
How do you
Let's see
want
what I have to
assist?
say first.
Okay.
You're a very young boy, aren't you?
Hold your horses, old man. If there is any question as to my credentials, I request that you summon Grand Maester Pycelle, as he happens to be an acquaintance of mine and can resolve any difficulties immediately.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Can I convince on this one?
Sure.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's not going too well. 9.
He says, "Oh, you know Grand Maester Pycelle? Fine." And he spits again, and he turns around and he waves. It looks like a low-level Septon over. It's a boy, 13 or 14 years old. He waves him over. And he's like, "Go find Grand Maester Pycelle and bring him here immediately." And the Septon nods, and the boy nods, and he starts to walk off when Septon Stanipo walks up, and he says,
Yeah, where's Sept and Stanipo been, man? Come on, man.
he's been standing there watching you guys.
Wow. What a douchebag.
Damn.
Well, he doesn't know you very well. He just met you. So he walks up
Hey,
to Maester Ramsfield, and he says,
but I just met you.
Stop.
he walks up to Maester Ramsfield, and he says, "Oh, good Maester Ramsfield, I just have a brief question to ask you on behalf of the faith." And he turns to Bob and he says, "When you look at this this older gentleman here, what do you see?" And Ramsfield just glares right into Daniel's eyes, and This says, a piece of fucking shite I could scrape off of my boots.
Not helping, Septon.
And the Septon says, well, I do not see that. And he moves his hand over and he tugs very lightly on Daniel's Maester's chain. One of the links in Daniel's Maester's chain. And he says, I see here a man of the Citadel, dressed in the robes of a man from the Citadel, and with a chain of the Citadel. I was told when I was told to help organize this event that all maesters from the Seven Kingdoms would be allowed here and allowed to enter the Maester's Conclave if they so desire. Is this not true? And Ramsfield kind of glares at Stanipo and looks over at the Maester sitting next to him. And the Maester sitting next to him kind of shrugs and he's like, nobody told you to check them at the door. And Ramsfield tries to shove him out of his chair. And he says, fine. The bloody shite can go in. Get out of my sight.
Wow.
And he waves all of you through. And as you're starting to walk away, the Maester next to him says, sirs, you forgot your scrolls. And he hands out scrolls to every one of you. And when you open them, they contain a very brief, short, like, welcome to the Maester's Conclave bullshit. And then there is an organization of events. So it says that at roughly 9:30, Grand Maester Pycelle is going to give a short introductory speech, welcoming you to the event. And then after that, there is going to be in the basement of the Sept, there is so the Sept is circular, and once you walk into the Sept, you're going to walk into the main worship center, which is circular and has statues of all seven gods from the Light of the Seven. But if you go downstairs, then there's a very smaller room that's kind of just like a conference room building. So the main one in the center has a very small Sept there. So like there's a little alcove there that have the seven statues of the gods, but mostly it's just a congregation place that people can go to, or split off into one of the seven rooms surrounding it. And so there's a short description of where you're going to go, and it says that one of these rooms is going to be serving as storage or a place for any retainers that you have with you to hang out during the day, and the other 6 rooms are going to be places where lectures are going to be held. And it says that the first round of the 6 lectures, in one of them is going to be a lecture entitled Deciphering the Cause of Death Postmortem. One is an astronomical prediction of the arrival of winter. Another is water usage for increased crop growth. One is the Light of the Seven, its use in modern times. One is techniques for increasing probability of pregnancy in noble ladies. And one is a mathematician's approach to household finances.
So, side note here,
Yes.
out of game question. Would any of these, by taking these courses, increase my stats for my character?
They may not increase the stats for your character in a traditional sense. Depending on how well you pay attention, I would perhaps allow a +1 or 2 to certain roles that you may be doing on the content of these. But certainly, depending on what lecture you attend of this, have different things in the forefront of your mind for the rest of this campaign and at the beginning of season 2, if we
Do you have the list of course options somewhere I could read them instead of listening?
I do not know. They're only in front of me in pen and paper, but I can throw
Okay.
them up very quickly.
If you don't mind, that would be great, because I feel like this is an important choice.
That's fine. I will put them up in our main chat so all of you guys can see.
Are they going on at the same time? So we have to pick just a couple.
You have to pick only one. Or if you guys want to stick together, you have to pick one. You guys can split up to different ones if you'd like.
But each
I'm
must
splitting
only
up.
Take one. Correct.
Of
What?
course I'm splitting up.
You're Keelbot, you're totally going to the religion one and heckling them because you know more.
Right.
Throw there.
I really want to pick the pregnancy one so I can hear you give Westeros-style tips for copulation.
You want to play chicken with the DM? Be my guest.
No, I don't.
All right, they're all up
You
there,
can see.
so you
Okay.
can make your choice.
Thank you,
And
my good sir.
oh no, it's fine. I should have done that before, but I didn't, just because I had come up with all of these names when I couldn't sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, with my little handy dandy notebook that I carry around and write interesting story ideas in, such as cannibals riding grizzly bears. Just one that's actually right in front of me right now. It's awesome.
In terms of stats that are on a page, which would be used to see if one could figure out the cause of death post-mortem as it is?
What?
Your mom.
Like, do I have any stats that I would normally roll to decipher the cause of death?
That I've been I've been making you guys do a mix of stuff for that. Mostly it's awareness to see if you see it. It's healing diagnose to see if you have a good understanding of what could make that. It's cunning memory to see if you've seen anything like this before that you could compare it to. It's a mix of skills, but mostly it's things that you're already fairly good at. But I mean, this you hear other maesters talking about it, and apparently this guy is a maester from the Riverlands, and he's kind of renowned there for his skill in figuring out cause of death, and especially like who did it, sort of stuff. It's not simply how they died, but more importantly who did it.
That's the one I'm going to. I think it fits my character the best.
The rest of you, where are you thinking of attending?
Really see any of them be particularly helpful for my character. But I suppose the most helpful is just for like a utilitarian prospect. It would either be the finances or the post-mortem death.
So, yes. So, Maester Julian would probably be interested in the household finances. At the same time, your current career projection is that you're going to take up the mantle of Grand Maester one day. It appears that you have gotten into the good graces, and you are probably next in line to be Grand Maester, which means that you would be in charge of all of King's Landing, and the royal family always appoints a Master of Coin to handle finances for the royal family. It'd be something interesting to learn, but it wouldn't necessarily help you in your kind of general knowledge. It wouldn't necessarily be a priority for you.
Fashion.
The finances or the mortem?
The finances, because it looks if nothing else changes, it looks like when Pycelle dies, supposedly in the next few years, he's a really old guy, and he's very feeble and decrepit. He's expected to die in the next few years, and the projection is that you're probably going to take over and there will be a guy who manages the royal finances for you. So a normal household maester would probably be very interested in that, because they would be very involved in the financial process, but you're kind of in a unique situation as far as that's concerned.
Right.
Mr. Fisher, are you planning to attend?
Yeah, I'm just gonna attend the light.
The which one?
Why does
The light of the seven, its use in modern times.
Okay. I'm planning to go to the deciphering cause of death post-mortem.
Cool. So, first off, you guys walk into the Sept of Baelor, and as you walk in, you're overwhelmed and really take a moment to step back and appreciate the majesty that is in the Sept of Baelor. You walk down, and there's a lot of circular steps that lead you to the bottom, the main part of the Sept, and all around the room there's the 7 different statues of the 7 gods of the light of the faith. And these statues are massive. They're 50 feet tall. They're wrought out of stone, and the craftsmanship is spectacular. In them, it's like nothing most of you have ever seen before. Now, Maester Fisher, of course, has been here many times before, so he's not that very much impressed with it. But the rest of you are very impressed with all of it. The floors are the floors and columns are marble, and there's very detailed work on the columns, and obviously the main part of it, the statues, are absolutely spectacular. So the 7 different gods of the light of the 7 are the Father, who doles out
The Son and the Holy Spirit.
Huh?
That's only 3.
Amen.
The Father who
That's
doles
still
out
only
justice, the Mother who doles out mercy, the Smith who controls like strength and worth ethic and things, the Warrior who controls like courage and battle and things like that, the Maiden who's like lust and fertility, the Crone who is wisdom, and the Stranger who is death. So all of them have their own representations all around the room, and together they lead in, and in the very center of the room, in tile work in the floor, there's a big 7-pointed star, which is the signature of the light of the 7, and every point, all of the points in the 7-pointed star directly point to one of the statues.
Wow.
Fancy.
That sounds grandiose.
Is quite grandiose.
Alrighty.
Well, Maester
Are
barely
there
just
any-
kind of looks up
big
like,
problem.
whoa, this is awesome.
Are there any cultural practices that ought to be respected of how you enter this temple?
There isn't anything specifically. So I should say this is where the faith does the light of the 7 and the faith. This is like their main headquarters. So in one of the basements, because there's like several layers, there's a lot of like offices and places where people hang out. So there's like a constant stream of various septons of all shapes and sizes and genders going different places. Septons and septas, I should say. Septa is the female version. So yeah, there's kind of a constant stream of septons going in and out. And there's a fair number of nobles in there. There might be like 15 or 18 of them that are wandering around. So you know that you have a couple of different options when you enter a sept. All of the septs are going to have some sort of representations of all 7 gods in there somewhere. Now, usually
Oh my goodness! I just realized Sept is in 7. I'm dumb.
Oh, you're so
So
smart.
usually in
Wow.
Stanipos Sept, which is very very small and very poor, the representation of the gods would be nothing more than um, like a cloth banner hung on a wall. In the poorest ones, it might even be like a charcoal drawing on a wall. But this is more than any other sept in the entire world. And so you know that you have a couple of different options. You can either go. There's kind of like a little gathering place that you can pray to in one of the gods individually, or there is a place where you can see all 7 at one time, kind of towards the bottom of the star. And there are a couple people that are sitting down in sort of pew-like sort of chair seats there who are knelt in prayer and praying to all 7. So it's really up to your choice.
Okay.
Also, I should point out that in the very center of the room, on top of the 7-pointed star, there is an altar there. And on the altar, when people of super importance die and their funeral is held in the Sept of Baelor, they would actually be laid out on this altar. But right now, it's just covered with a cloth, and there's a couple urns there. And it looks like that's where they burn incense out of. But it doesn't look like they're burning anything right now.
So, when do the lectures begin?
The opening ceremonies is set to take place in about 10 minutes. So you should go downstairs for that. And Grand Maester Pycelle is going to make that announcement. And then the lectures are set to begin immediately after that.
So we got like 10 minutes to do whatever we want, and then get a seat.
Yeah, you have a few minutes to go downstairs and hang out with your fellow maesters in the big gathering room. And then Pycelle's going to get up and say a few words, and then you will go to your whatever lectures that you would like to attend.
Pycelle's gonna give up. Yeah, I'm sick of this job. Julian, you're up.
That'd be so poetic.
I would like to proceed downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Daniel.
So you guys walk downstairs, and this room is a lot smaller than the main sept upstairs. And that's just because it's built straight down. It's kind of like a circular staircase on the side that you go down to get there. And it's much more intimate of a circular room than most of the space where that the sept was just open and had like statues and places for people to sit is actually hidden behind walls of separate rooms. So you see, you're kind of just funneled into a little main circular building, and there's some nice carpets on the ground, and there seems to be a table over to the side, and they have several jugs of water and wine and a few platters of different foods laid out for you.
What kind of foods do they have?
Well,
These are the real questions.
I'm so hungry, guys. Stop this.
There is
Me too.
a few cheeses and several different cheeses and a few different kinds of meat. There's some slices of some stuff, and there's some shredded. And there seems to be some bread there. A couple of different types of bread. Some of it might be more sweeter. It appears they've baked some raisins into it and might have covered it in some sort of powdered sugar. But some of it is more
Wow.
Damn.
Oh my
More sweeter
goodness.
bread. Can I run healing diagnose on the food to make sure it's all like quality and safe, not gonna like make us sick?
savory. Absolutely.
I'll join him in that.
$21.
You know it's safe. You know that's it's
Then
there.
I want to walk over there.
There's nothing entirely suspicious about it, and it seems like the quality is a little better than what most of you are used to.
Then I'm absolutely going to be piling a plate full of some meat and cheese.
I will definitely be following over as well. I would like to see if there's any maesters I know in the room.
Okay, roll cunning memory.
Cunning? Ooh. 12.
Okay, so you see the maester that you probably know best is you recognize Maester Ferris from House Dannet there, and he appears to be standing over in the corner talking to some colleagues. And you see a couple other another Riverlands Maester that you might have come in contact with, and I don't know what his house is yet. But his name is Maester Vickery, and
okay.
you know he's from the Riverlands, and he's fairly close to where you guys are, as close as you could really be. In the Riverlands, very close to House Dannet, and included in that he is talking to Maester Ferris. And then you also notice Maester Lewin from Winterfell appears to have come.
Hey.
Cool. What about the other gentlemen?
Like all the other Maesters?
No, Fisher and Julian.
Oh yeah.
Try not to talk the whole time.
Well, I was just kind of following them because I hadn't been here before, and I think I followed Fairly's suit with the food table. That seemed like a fair idea.
Might be good for Julian to roll. He might know some extra maesters.
I just might. That would be what did you say? Cunning memory?
Yes.
Alrighty. It's an 11. Is that 11? No, that's 13.
Okay. So you recognize a few of the other local maesters in King's Landing. I'll have specific names for them, but you recognize a few other people there, and especially local maesters from around the Riverlands and the Stormlands. They're close to King's Landing. But the main guy that you especially recognize is as you guys start to walk towards the food table. The maester who is standing there turns around, and you see Maester Pollux actively shoving some of the sweetbread into his mouth. And he sees you, and he sees you approaching, and he turns around and takes the entire platter with the rest of the sweetbread and ducks into one of the other rooms.
What?
That ass. I wanted sweetbread.
Now this Pollux was the
I whack him with my stick.
medical dude, right?
Yes, that was
Yeah,
the guy.
the
who was...
creepy, rapey one.
Medic
Wow.
with huge quotation marks.
I highly discourage whacking him with a stick in amongst the conclave of the other maesters that were around. Perhaps the best course would be to simply appease some higher council maesters about what he's been doing. But going about him with a giant stick in the face, I don't think is the right course of action. Especially when within, 5 or just a couple minutes, the biggest dude is going to come up and start things off. I really think now is a bad time.
It's true. You should probably just catch Pycelle before he starts talking and tell him about what you found Maester Pollux doing.
That's a fine idea.
Got 2 6s.